there'd be a big part of my life that led up to where I am now. I'd rub my hand through my hair and I just had lumps of my hair coming out. I never thought like living in a van was normal. You know, I always heard about a couple of BMXers sort of living in a van, and I was like, oh, really? That's a bit weird sort of thing. But it doesn't click. It didn't click with me then. I don't see the point in buying a house. I don't want to be stuck to one location, you know.
Alright guys, welcome back to another Liberation video. Today we're meeting up with Jack, who's a drone pilot and living full time in his van.
We hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, give it a like because it really helps out our channel, and let us know in the comments what you think.
Back to it.
Alright, so my name's Jack Mould. I'm a 25-year-old FPV drone pilot. I also do a few other little things, riding BMX. I'm a filmmaker as well. So there's a group of different things, and I've been living out of this Ford Transit Custom. So before this, I was living at my mum and dad's. I'm still working in London 3 days a week. So I never really, in my head, I never really had the idea of living in a van. It was never something that I was like, oh yeah, I want to live in a van. I've never enjoyed camping or anything like that. Like I remember going away for BMX contests and camping, and it wasn't really my thing. All right, so I think there'd be a big part of my life that led up to where I am now. The last few years were a little bit rough sort of thing. Obviously, I think everyone had a bit of a rough time through COVID. Some people rougher than others. But for me, I think through that time, I got a little bit lost in life. I didn't really know what I wanted to do or where I wanted to be. Obviously, I love filmmaking, I love riding BMX, but I got a little bit lost. I didn't know what to do really. And I got into all the drone stuff through, what happened was I had the COVID vaccine sort of thing, and I got really ill. So after the first, I had one jab, and the next day I just couldn't really breathe, felt ill for about 2 weeks. I went to hospital and they kind of sort of pied it off as a panic attack, and I was like, I've never had a panic attack in my life sort of thing, you know. I ride BMX, I do all of this stuff. It's not something that really gets mixed in together. But anyway, I went home and I just kind of carried on with my life for a couple of weeks. I was ill, I was coughing a lot, I couldn't really breathe properly, I was struggling. And I think as well, I was struggling a little bit mentally. I didn't really know what was going on inside, so it was messing my head up a little bit. And then about 2 weeks later after this, I was on a video shoot. It was a long day, and throughout the day I was getting more ill, is what it felt like. It got to the end of the day and I was like, oh, okay, I need to drive home, and I'd have to come back the next day for the shoot. And while I was driving home, I just got really lightheaded and I sort of passed out in my car, and I wrote my car off. I spent a good, almost a week in hospital, I think. And the doctors wouldn't really put it to anything. They wouldn't really tell me what was going on. There was something to do with my heart, but then there was nothing. Okay, they wouldn't say it was a vaccine, which I don't care. Shit happens in life. And that's just what happens. But yeah, I was in hospital for about a week or whatever, and I kind of come out and come home, and I didn't really feel well. I couldn't really even walk across the field with the dogs and back. Like by the time I got to the other side of the field, I was out of breath, I was coughing, you know. So I kind of spent the next few weeks in bed. And at this point, I was kind of going through my head. I was like, oh, I want to try something new, get into something different. So I ordered an FPV drone. At this point, I still didn't really know what was going on. I was still a bit lost, and I'd be at home and I was having a shower one day, and I'd rub my hand through my hair and I just had lumps of my hair coming out. I was like, oh shit, like what's going on? It was all a bit weird, and I left it for a couple of days, and it was getting worse and worse, and I had patches around my ear. It started off with a little bald patch here, and then it kind of turned into going in the middle of my head, and then it just got to the point where I literally had no hair sort of thing. So I just shaved it off in the end, and pretty much wore a hat. I'm still wearing a hat now because I've got half an eyebrow, I've got patches in the back of my head. So yeah, obviously I was ill, I couldn't really do much for 6 months. So I basically spent the next 6 months sat at my computer playing with a drone simulator. Obviously I was doing a bit of work in between, but I was struggling to work. I think my mental health had sort of taken over, and from the COVID vaccine, it was like from then everything in my head sort of spiraled out of control. You know, even before that, I knew I had a few problems and I didn't really understand it, but I could cope with it. It was a lot to handle, you know, I had a lot of ups and downs and I didn't really know what was going on. But what took my mind off that was flying drones. And even though I wasn't flying them in real life, I just sat at the computer flying. Obviously, I practiced on that for a good few months, and then that turned into flying the drones for real, and that turned into a lot of money, to be fair. I spent a lot of money crashing and repairing and just getting good at flying, sort of thing. You know, I wanted to learn a new skill that I could incorporate with the video stuff. So I had the idea in mind of buying a van for a good year. I thought about it for a year, I didn't tell anyone really, you know, it was just something I thought about. I thought it could be a good idea, and then I slowly started to tell a couple of my mates, and they were like, yeah, that'd be sick. I was like, all right, maybe, you know, maybe it's a normal thing, because I never thought like living in a van was normal. You know, I always heard about a couple of BMXers sort of living in a van, and I was like, oh, really? That's a bit weird, sort of thing. But it doesn't click. It didn't click with me then, and your life changes quite quickly, from what I've found out recently. So the idea was like, oh, you know what, I'm working in London 3 days a week, and I'm driving, what, 2 hours to London and 2 hours home? That's 4 hours of my day wasted. I'm waking up at 6 in the morning, and I'm leaving at maybe 6 o'clock at night, and I'm getting home at 9 o'clock at night. And when I get home, I just want to get in bed and go to sleep. Like, I'm tired, you know, driving in London's a nightmare. There's traffic everywhere. Honestly, like, there's just so much traffic, it's a nightmare. But yeah, the idea would be, oh, you know what, like, I could buy a van, you know, I ride BMX shows, so I kind of go around the country and I ride BMX shows, which is quite good, because all of these little aspects in my life kind of fit in to living in a van quite well. Like riding the shows, the filmmaking, and working in London 3 days a week, it's kind of all fit together in a way. So I'll sleep at the office in London 3 days a week, and then sort of from Friday till Tuesday I'll do my freelance work. I'll go out and fly drones. I'm always looking for new spots. Like I fly FPV drones, which is essentially, that just means first person view. So what the drone sees, I'm seeing. I've got a pair of goggles on, and that's what I'm seeing out of the drone. You know, if you're gonna crash into a tree, a DJI drone will probably stop you, but my drone's going straight into it. You're probably gonna break something, but it is what it is. All right, so this is my Ford Transit Custom. It's a 17 plate, and I needed something that was ULEZ free. Obviously, because I'm in and out of London every week, I needed something that I didn't have to pay the ULEZ charge. So I bought the van how it was, so someone had already had it done out and they were just using it as like a camper for the weekends or go away with their kids or whatever. This cost me about 18 grand. I pretty much spent all my savings. So the reason I got this size is because I didn't really know what I wanted. You know, the original plan was to buy a bigger van and build the back out to sort of what I want, but then wasn't too sure on what I needed. So I was like, all right, this was up for sale, so I sort of bought this, and I was like, I'll use this for however long, and then if in a year or two I'm like, all right, I want something a bit bigger, then I can do that. Obviously, I don't have a solar panel on the roof yet or anything, but that's something I'm going to do in the future. Would be pretty handy, especially in the summer. I wanted the van to be as stealth as it could, sort of thing. Obviously, I'm always going to like abandoned buildings and things like that, so I'm always parking in dodgy places. So I kind of think it looks a little bit like a work van sort of thing, which is quite nice because I don't really get questioned too much. It's not unless the door's wide open and everyone can see inside, but obviously when I'm pulling up to sort of dodgy places, it does just like, you know, oh, maybe this guy's just driving down here to drop off some parcels or something. No one knows I'm in it, you know, I could be parked on the side of a road on a lay-by, whatever. No one knows you're in it, which is nice. Where I park at the office that I work at, it's like an enclosed bit with a gate. So I'm just parked with all the other vans really, so it fits in quite nicely. The outside is very plain. It's a bit dirty, I know it needs a wash, but because I'm charging a lot of drone batteries, I'm definitely going to put a solar panel on the roof because it does drain the leisure battery pretty quickly. Obviously in here underneath the passenger seat, there's a leisure battery. And then just down here, I've got a 500 watt inverter, so I can pretty much charge everything off of that. And hasn't been a big deal really, charging my drone batteries and driving around. As I'm driving around, you know, my battery is on charge while I'm driving. So, you know, the car battery, the van battery is charging the leisure battery, which is charging the drone batteries pretty much. So it works out all right. It hasn't been a big deal. A lot of people have been asking, where do I go to the toilet? Now, I'll just take it out because it's not even that heavy, but pretty much this is my toilet. You can't get much better, you know. So obviously for a shower, I've been using like Pure Gym or The Gym. It's pretty cheap membership every month and they're all over the country. So the plan would be to have some sort of shower on the back for in the summer. So maybe I could have something that goes around the doors, which is what my mate's got on his. Something that goes around the doors to close me in, and I could have a shower outside in the summer or whatever, which would be quite nice. If I open the back of the van, all the beds falls out. My bed's normally stuffed up here. Most of the time, normally it doesn't fall out, but today it decided to. This bag has got my pads in it for when I ride in BMX shows. I've got my drone bag here, I've got a drone here. You'll see in a minute that I've got 2 more drones down there, another drone on the top, a couple of drones in the cabinet. There's a lot of drones basically. I've got my camera bag here. Underneath here, got a little table. You know, when I go to the abandoned places, I tend to take the chair and the table and I sort of sit there, have a cup of tea. I've got a little portable hob inside, which is quite nice as well. So underneath here, I've pretty much got a few pots, pans, things for cooking, nothing really too interesting. There might be a bit of pasta in there, but that's about it really. And a sleeping bag for the winter when it gets really cold, because I haven't got any heating. I did have a little portable gas heater thing, but I don't really trust them too much. I've put it on, you know, put it on for a little bit and it's not too bad. But also on the back of the door here, this is a table, so I can take this off and then that goes in the front of the van pretty much. So I'll eat food on this or whatever. I think I'm quite lucky. I feel quite blessed to be able to sleep in the car park at the office. Obviously it is in London, it's not the nicest place, but once the door's shut in the van, it's like you're in your own little world. Once that door closes, it's like, I'm not in London, I'm in my bedroom sort of thing. That's what it feels like. So for me, I don't see the point in buying a house. I don't want to be stuck to one location, you know. For me now, like the world's sort of like my playground. I can go wherever I want, I can do whatever I want. There's no one that can tell me what I can and can't do. You know, I don't see the point, like, you know, when you go to work, what are you going home for after work? You know, you're going to go home, you're going to spend 2 hours getting home or an hour getting home, however long it takes you. You're going to go home, you're going to cook dinner, you're going to watch a bit of TV, and then you're going to go to sleep, and you're going to wake up and you're going to do the same thing the next day. You know, people at work ask me, oh, so what do you do in the van after work? Well, I do exactly what you do at home, but I'm in the van doing it. You know, I'll cook my dinner, watch a bit of TV, I'll look for a few like drone spots, you know, a few abandoned places here and there. And yeah, like I don't see any point in a house really. It's not something, I don't want to be locked down to one location. One day I thought living in a van was weird, and then the next day everything sort of clicked. I was like, oh, I'm doing this, this and this. I can put all that together and I don't have to pay for the hotels when I go away. You know, I'd be going away before the van. I'd go away, I'd pay for a hotel for a couple of nights. That's a waste of money. I've learned a lot, you know, living in the van for a little bit. I don't need a big space. You know, I've realised I've got so much stuff at home that I don't need. You know, everything in the van now, I don't need anything else. I've got everything in there. I've got my drones, I've got, you know, a toilet, I've got a cooker, I can cook me food, I've got a little fridge in there, everything's sort of sorted, you know. There's nothing that I don't need. And as well, I think it's helped me a lot in life, because I was struggling quite badly, like mentally before. And it's definitely helped me sort of, you know, I've got a routine, you know, when I wake up, I've got to put the bed away, which I quite like that. I mean, some people might not like that, but I quite like having a little routine of putting the bed away. I'll wake up, I'll make my cup of tea. And then even though I haven't got a shower in the van, but I quite like having to go to the gym in the morning to have a shower and have a little workout or whatever. It's quite nice. It's like that little routine that gets my day going. I think there's a lot more to life than just working, you know, 9 to 5 days a week and having 2 days off every week. You know, I'm working 3 days a week now and I've got 4 days to kind of do what I want, and I'm always going different places. I enjoy, you know what, I quite enjoy my own space. I like being on my own, you know. Like last night I was just sat up on the mountains, or in the middle of nowhere pretty much. No one around, no cars, no nothing. You know, there's a few sheep, that was it. But that was peaceful. I like that. You know, I don't need company. I don't need to be on the phone to someone every night. You know, I like my own space. I like having time to sort of think. You know, everyone's different. For me, there's nothing, you know, when I'm in the van, there's no challenges or there's nothing that I find hard. You know, I like having to put my bed away in the morning. I like having to go to the gym. I like, you know, not having to go home after work. You know, I just get in the van, everyone's going home sort of thing. Everyone's moaning at work, oh, I need to get home, I don't need to be anywhere. I can stay at work a little bit later, it doesn't bother me. You know, I come outside, I can get the bed out and go to sleep. I'm trying to think if there are any challenges, but I can't think of like, There's nothing that I found in the van that, oh, this is annoying or that's annoying. You know, everything's pretty positive. So on the back of the seats, I've got a bit of storage. These are the things that I generally use every day. Like I've got a pan here, I've got my cups for my cup of tea. At the bottom, I've got plugs, so like my drone chargers, things like that. This little bag has got me toothbrush, a bit of aftershave in. Down here is a 500 watt inverter. I can just plug my drone charger straight into it, so then I can charge batteries from this. This has also got a little thing on top where I can charge my phone, which is quite nice. There's a lot of drones in the van. These two don't actually work, which is genuinely part of the hobby. And then at the back, I've got my hob, a sink, and the fridge at the bottom. And then underneath in the little cupboard there is just my gas and a few other things that I'll probably use like everyday sort of things. A little bit of cereal, got my water for the tap under there as well. You know, the basic stuff you need. You know, the things I use every day, I've tried to have it so I don't, you know, have to go to the back. So pretty much most of the time I'll be cooking in the van. I try not to really eat out because I don't really like wasting the money. I'd rather have that extra money to spunk more money on drones. All the electrics, everything is run off 12 volts. So the fridge is 12 volts. As long as the leisure battery's fully charged, it runs fine for a few days. But if it's a little bit low, then the freezer bit doesn't really keep anything frozen, which is a downside, but then I haven't really had any problems with it. I put a bit of meat in there, but then I just had to cook it all and I ate it, so it's not a big deal. So as you can see, I've got a big cupboard at the back. That's got most of my clothes in, a few drones. Most of my t-shirts and a few trousers are in that cupboard, but then under here, I've got some shoes, but then all my clothes are in this little boot store bit under the bottom. Most of my clothes are in here, so that just slides under. But I try and keep most of the things I'm gonna wear throughout the day or throughout the week in this cupboard here, so I don't have to get into this much. So I've got a little stand there that I can put my iPad on, so I'll just watch Netflix, or most of the time I'm watching YouTube sort of thing, which is quite nice. I think a lot of people in small mans forget about is laundry. So I've got a little laundry bag, and you know what, I haven't actually been anywhere to do laundry because where I work in London, I've just been using the washing machine, which is pretty handy. So I've just been washing my clothes there every week. And then in here, I've just got a bit of porridge, you know, some pasta, some rice, just basic things for cooking really, or breakfast or dinner. But the bed in the back is just simple rock and roll bed. It's all bolted into the floor. So if I wanted to and had more people in the van, I could use it as seats, but I quite like being in the van on my own, to be fair. One other person's enough, that's all right. But the bed slides out and then it comes just before the fridge, so you know I can still get in the fridge and stuff when the bed's out. Yeah, I'll show you how it comes out. So normally I've got a few things stuffed down here, but I'll just tuck them there. There's a little latch under here and I can just pull this out. And the bed's out. So all I need to do really is just rearrange the pillows and it's pretty sorted. There's switches here in it, so like for the lights, I've got lights there, I've got more drones. Under here, I've got my sink, and then on this side, I've got my hob. Obviously, most of the time when I'm in the van, I'm sitting down. I don't really stand up in here. Obviously, it's not that high. So I'm pretty sure this is about 150 watt power bank, so I can charge drone batteries off of this. I've made a cable actually that goes into the cigarette lighter, and I can plug that straight into my drone battery. So I've made a little cable for that. But I don't really, the only thing I'll use this for is like charging my laptop or anything like that. I'll just save the leisure battery just for extra power for the fridge or anything like that sort of thing. As well, I've got Wi-Fi here. This is a EE4 or 5G router. Generally works anywhere, so it's not too bad. There's nothing that I don't like about it. You know, I think some people don't really get it. It doesn't click with some people. You know, my mate called me the other day and he was like, oh, like, how you been? What you been doing? I was like, oh, I've been living in my van. And he was like, are you all right? Like, what's up? Like, what's going on? Like, you got problems at home? I'm like, no, everything's fine at home. Like, everything's cushy. I just wanted a change in life. One day, I don't even know what it was. It was just one day it clicked. It clicked one day and I was like, why am I doing all of this stuff? Why am I traveling? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? I might as well just live in a van. It just makes sense. You know, I've seen a lot of things, you know, people are like, you not get lonely, but it's not lonely either, because, you know, I'll pull up somewhere and within, you know, 10, 15 minutes or whatever, someone's coming over and they're asking you a question, even though I think I pulled up somewhere the other day and met some guy and he was like, oh, you got FPV drones? I was like, yeah. He's like, I've always wanted to see someone fly. I've always wanted to get into it. And at the end of the night, he was like, mate, you've made my day, thanks. Like, and it was cool. I met a new guy, I followed him on Instagram. I might get a bit of work out of it, so it worked out all right. You know what, I don't like to look too far in advance. Like, I just like to take each day as it comes sort of thing, But I think for the future, like, I'll live in this for as long as I can, and then one day I'd like a bigger van, maybe like a Sprinter size van to have a bit more room, I'd have a separate bit, to fix all my drones, a little garage in the back to put my bike in. A little bit of extra room would be nice, but for now this is enough. I don't need anything else. I've got everything I need in the van. Life's too short. You don't know when it's going to end. You might not wake up one day. So I think honestly, just do whatever you want to do now. Don't think about it. I've thought about this for too long, and now I'm realising that I'm thinking too much. So just don't think about anything. Just go and do it. If you've got an idea, if you want to go travelling, if you want to do this, just do it. So obviously the plan with the drone stuff is I want to keep going with Instagram, and I'm also doing a lot of video work. I've shot with Stormzy, and I've done off-road car events. I did a mountain bike video for Red Bull last year, which was quite good. I want to keep doing video shoots. I want to keep pushing it like that. But at the end of the day, I kind of just want to do what makes me happy, really. When I got the goggles on and I'm flying the drone, I'm in a different world, sort of thing. It's the same as when you close the van door at night. You're in a different world, I think, which is nice. For me, I just want to enjoy life how it is. So you can find me on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube at It's Jack FPV. Just put the "it's" at the start. Everyone will say, okay, yeah, Jack FPV, but it's Jack FPV. So you can find me down below in the description. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe. I've done that before, haven't I?
Alright guys, thanks for watching another Liberation video, and thanks to Jack for showing us around there. Make sure to check out his epic drone flying skills in the link below on his social media.
If you like what we're doing with the channel, guys, let us know in the comments and give us a like because it helps out, and we'll see you in the next video.